We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show, episode 474. I am your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. Joining us this week is the OG Undisputed Scholar himself. He is Scholar Tarek. Scholar Tarek, how's life treating you, sir?
Life has treated me well. I am now looking back on this week of wrestling. It may have been a slow week, but there is something to look forward to, specifically next week when we got them all in predictions. That's gonna be seeing how this dynamite went. I'm actually now looking more forward to that event.
Absolutely. It's just the calm before the storm.
Oh
And
yes.
speaking of the calm before the storm, we of course also have to introduce our current reigning and possibly defending Scholars of Wrestling
Question
World
mark.
Champion. He is the newly crowned Scholar Pete. Scholar Pete, have you given any more thought to my proposal, sir?
God, you know what? Have you seen that I changed locations? You're trying to hunt me down. You want this title? I gotta be in an undisclosed location for my life because you want to take what's mine. You want me at all in? Well, let me tell you something, Jeff. You fucking got me at all in.
Good stuff. Good to know
Oh,
that you're a man of courage. You're a man of
let me
conviction. I
let me
love
tell
it.
you something, Sarah. You think I lied to you? I said to you boys when I won, I would defend this belt. I am a fighting champion. And when I beat you decisively, might I add, just because that's what I'm going to do as your champion and just dominate. But let me tell you something. Scholar Tarek, are you excited for this matchup, sir? What are your thoughts on me putting up the belt against their Scholar Jeff? What do you feel? How are you feeling?
I do not.
Nice
But in all
delivery. Nice delivery.
but in all seriousness, I'm looking forward to see how this is gonna turn out. And good luck with your title match, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Adding even more stakes to my excitement for All In.
Oh, it's going to be a spectacular show, a spectacular weekend, and even more spectacular when I take back what's actually mine. But that goes without saying, because we still have quite a lot of wrestling this week to cover, even though we're not quite at all in. The wrestling world never sleeps, and we're going to talk about it all in a little segment we like to call Backstage News.
Indeed, we shall go once again. Check in behind that curtain there, right there. Oh, there's a lot going on. A lot going on in their segment called Backstage News.
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 Ooh.
News.
News.
Finally picking up on the echo. Meh.
There's no cause for that, man.
It It seems like a formality. I still love the meh. I know you're a little meh about the meh, but I am not meh about the meh.
Oh, I think I'm now reaching that point. I'm more than meh about the meh.
Will you be more than meh about the meh? I will not be meh about the meh until the meh source of the original meh returns back to action. Scholar Brian, we hope to see you back soon. But in the meantime, we got some backstage news to cover, starting with the recent announcement. Speaking of All In, it was just announced as of this day of that we're recording today that the AEW All In for 2025 is actually going to be based out of Texas. That's right, our side of the pond for a change. It is going to be at Globe Life Field in Texas in 2025, and then will be returning to Wembley in 2026. Uh, I got to admit, I was starting to get used to the idea of All In being all the way in Wembley year after year, which is a great venue for them. But I am very much impressed to see All In coming back to the States. Uh, Gentlemen, I'm going to field it to you. What do you make of this announcement, and does it impact anything for you in terms of your All In viewership?
Does it do anything for my all-in viewership? No. Literally the only thing that I'm hoping for is that the theme song for that show will just be "The stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of
Heart of
Texas."
Texas.
That's the only request I have for that show.
Hey, at the very least, I know someone must make that joke. Whether it's, I hope they bring Danhausen back just to make that joke. Tony Khan,
That would
book
be
it,
pretty fun.
please.
That would be fun.
Tony Khan could do anything. What this means is All In not being at Wembley. I feel like when you talk about All In, that's what you picture. London, it coming over to Texas doesn't matter. Like Jeff trying to take my Scholars of Wrestling Championship, it just doesn't matter because it's not going to happen. So, is this a great move for All In to come back to the States? Bring that All In energy here, absolutely, and then go back to London. I don't think that's a bad idea. And I look forward. Maybe you know what? Give us a good show in the States, because at the end of the day, All In just produces. I expect great matches come next week. That's why I'm so confident again of being your champion. But exciting news. I want to see what this brings to the good old heart of Texas.
Oh, we're gonna be getting to all the matches that we're gonna be seeing in short time, at least this year. We're gonna be covering that a little bit further, but before we go, we need to talk about this ongoing situation that seems to be developing with one Afa Anoa'i. Uh, First, there was a little bit of drama, just not even a matter of hours before we recorded this episode. First, we see a post on Twitter/X from Dave Meltzer saying that he had passed away. Then we see a redaction saying he actually had not passed away, that he's just in ill health. And then I see a post from one of his daughters, I believe, saying that he's not dead yet. Is this a confirmation that he is actually in ill health? And then we saw even more accounts about other people in the wrestling world supposedly being in ill health, but no, they're not. It's all bit tonal whiplash for the past day or so. Guys, help me out here. What what in the world is going on?
What in the world, indeed? I mean, it's it's with just everything coming out lately, and just the whole environment of the internet and jumping to conclusions, everything with Dave Meltzer, saying he passed and taking it back. It's like everybody jumps to their conclusions. I feel like, what you get in when you get into the business of being a professional wrestler. You're going to deal with some health benefit. You're going to have surgeries. Like unless you are Mr. Perfect, you're going to sustain something at some point. And I just feel that it's crazy how things have got blown out of proportion, when in the long term he could just be having uh COVID or something, that's not like crazy. I'm not just saying crazy in the loose in 2024, but like something where it's treatable. People jump to the conclusions and everything gets blown out of proportion. That at least my thoughts on it, gentlemen.
Yes, I am reading more postings that I'm digging into it more just now. Apparently, Samu Anawai just made a post, I believe, on Facebook that he apparently is in ill health. That it's just really the family saying their goodbyes, but he is officially still with us. But even so, regardless of what his actual status is, one thing that was absolutely true from Meltzer's point of view is he mentioned that, yeah, this has got to be a real hard time for the entire Anoa'i family. First Sika, and now Afa is on his way out. I can only imagine what Roman and his family are feeling right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I even made that because I was like, it was honestly what, like just a couple of weeks ago.
It sure feels that way. I think it was maybe a month or so ago, but it certainly does feel like just recently.
Yeah, just this sad, just the like reality of life. Just it's just that time. I mean, it's great that you have that final, at least that final appearance of just, well, acknowledging Roman as the tribal chief and just now seeing where this bloodline storyline is just, it's going. And it's just looking back on just the history of just like the Anoa'i family and just how much of an impact it really is. They really did make, especially the Wild Samoans, have on wrestling in the tag team world. And now it's that point where they're, if the if his health situation is at a bad point, at least getting the affairs in order, saying the goodbyes to the family, and just all that can be said is just at least there is that time to, like, when your time is coming and you say goodbye, and just know that once, like, he may be gone, but the history of just the Anoa'i family and just where when you have the bloodline as hot as it is right now, yeah, it's just both a sad and a very proud moment.
Absolutely. And we'll see, absolutely be paying attention to all of this as it's progressing. It's
Oh yeah, now
probably day
that
by
the
day.
news isn't, now we're just gonna be like, okay, what is happening? Like, like, when's this, like, what's the update on it? Yeah, I'm gonna we're definitely gonna keep a close ear on this.
For sure. But in the meantime, the road keeps on going on for the wrestling world, and there's lots of big matches and shows on the horizon. But first, the road takes us through this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, where I don't know about you, but we had an amazing opening to Monday Night Raw with Rhea Ripley addressing this new version of the Judgment Day, talking some serious smack to Dominic and uh Liv Morgan. I was about to say Rhea. It's Dominic and Rhea. It's still
Jersey
on the tip of
represent.
my tongue. Yeah. We got the Jersey girl, Liv Morgan, being ambushed by Damian Priest.
Undertaker style. I love those
A
names, man.
great brawl. This entire segment. I admit there's been a lot of times where I've been very sort of bored by the Judgment Day, but this just kicked it all into high gear. Absolutely. I absolutely loved it.
I wish I was in that same boat because I'm still standing with what I said last week. Just, and now when I actually see the crowd, like the posts and the response to it, it's like five people can't take out two. And I'm just like, yeah, well, they're being booked that way. And I'm still hoping that this is still not League of Nations Roman Reigns or Edge versus Judgment Day type of booking where the faces are booked so strong that I hate this term. I have made it perfectly clear. I hate this term, but like this new Judgment Day are being booked as geeks to the point where you just don't believe. It's like you don't believe them as a credible threat. And with the announcement of this mixed tag match, of course, everybody wants to see that moment with Rhea. Oh God, what's the name of her finishing move?
Riptide.
Riptide. Thank you. Hitting a riptide on Dominic. But it's now more of just like, okay, if you want us to take this seriously, you got to book Judgment Day stronger, not do this potential renaming of Street Trash, which I'm glad they're going, the news is today that they're going back on because of just, well, the negative fan reaction to the idea of them changing their name to Street Trash. I like Rhea and Priest are definitely doing well on the terms of now they're top baby faces on the Raw brand. But in all honesty, like how you, Jeff, how you said that you get bored with the Judgment Day. If they keep going in this particular direction where the Judgment Day can't stand tall, even if you have some stupid spooky promo later in the show to try and get yourself over, you're still looking at this at the opening segment. It's like you guys got pwned in this. So why would I take you seriously? And I said last week, I don't want this to be, especially for Finn Balor's sake. I want this to be like the new being put as as a top level heel. And I hope that I want to be proven wrong, but they're making it very difficult for me to be like, okay, I'm watching this, I'm seeing this segment. Judgment Day are being booked as, I'm not going to say it again, are just being booked as just weak, not even just weak, super weak. And something better happened to make this feel like, okay, now everyone's actually benefiting from this. But I'm looking more on the benefiting factor for Balor. He's my number one that I just like. Hopefully he gets something out of this.
And that's one thing that does encourage me. I see where you're going with this, where they're sort of like looking a little on the weak side, where the two faces are just so strong, so unstoppable. But really, we only got one match so far and one segment. Damian Priest did beat Carlito, but at the same time, we're also talking about a former world heavyweight champion beating Carlito. We're just getting started here. And I think that's what gives me a little bit more confidence in this process, meaning not only is there still Finn Balor waiting in the wings, but we also have Dominic Mysterio, who is pretty much king of heel mountain at the moment, gloriously so, especially after the appearance he had on Logan Paul's podcast, where he just completely trolls his ass.
That I absolutely love that. And you just the look on Logan's Paul face, because you could just tell, like, yeah, this definitely rubbed him the wrong way. This is Dom definitely pulling that ultimate heel move. And just to respond to that, not to the Logan Paul, but just to respond to, like, yes, it's the beginning. Like I said, I want to be right. I want to be proven wrong. Like, yes, it's Carlito versus former world champion Damian Priest. But it's not even just really the matches I'm looking at. I mean, technically they had two matches where one Priest won again by disqualification, but yeah, it's still a win is a win. But it's more just, okay, they're having every single member beat them up, and then Rhea Ripley shows up, and then actually, I can't even say that. Even before Ripley shows up, he's still able to fighting back a multiple person assault. And again, I want to be proven wrong. I want this to be beneficial for the names that matter. We're getting it with Priest. We're getting it with Rhea. We've been getting it with Dom. I mean, yeah, like I said, he's been the big heel magnet, and now he has Liv to. So even that he's even benefiting from it. And Balor's just hasn't been, he's been center focused talking, but that's it. And him just running away. So now it's just like, okay, when is Balor going to get that moment? And hopefully it will be soon. Hopefully, again, I will be proven wrong, and I will be glad that be proven wrong.
And let me just jump in quick with this. I have to say that this is the most fucking Rhea Bloody Ripley. Fucking yes. Fucking go, girl. Fucking you are our fucking champion in our eyes. Damian, former world champ. Of course you could take those guys on. We're talking about story here, gentlemen. We're talking about how Triple H is in the back making some beef stew, throwing some potatoes in there, throwing some carrots in there, making some celery, putting the broth in, because he's going to marinate it and make it delicious. Because next week you're going to have Judgment Day with Finn Balor come, and they're going to screw over Rhea, and they're going to screw over Priest, and it's going to bring hatred, and they're going to be irrelevant, and if people are going to start to be like, you know what, we're liking this Judgment Day because you have to have that hero rise to the top to have it be cinematic when they start to crumble. And with them looking as powerful as they did, when Mommy, who I play in Call of Duty as my operator skin, when Mommy comes on, it just means it's going to be greatness. And that's what this brought. Absolute greatness.
Meanwhile, I thought that just meant that speaking of mommy, I thought that just meant that Pete is coming to the side of the muscle mommies at this point. Given how you were gushing over Rhea just now.
Let me tell you, I have to say, it was one of her stronger. I was like, yes, like this is the Rhea that I wanted back. Like it hit me where I'm like, yes, I know you're gonna get screwed, girl, but for right now, you have made me a believer. I think it was one of her best promos, truly.
Yeah, she was putting on a clinic, and really, like we talked about, we're really just getting started here. I think there's still a lot of stuff we can do with this new Judgment Day versus Judgment Day thing. There's still a lot of ground to cover, and I think we're in good hands.
Absolutely.
Now, it does look like we did momentarily lose Tarek just now. We're going to wait for him to come back on in just 1 second. But in the meantime, we also had another tag team battle. We actually had a surprisingly excellent match from the newly crowned American Made versus the Alpha Academy. And let's see, it looks like Tarek is going to be joining us back up in just 1 second. Let's see if we can get Tarek back.
Oh, sorry about that.
All right, we got
lost
you back.
connection there. Lost connection momentarily.
No worries, no worries. It's all good. We were actually just
I
about
thought
to
you
talk
found out
about.
where I lived, and I had to relocate. I was very worried, Scholar Tarek.
Don't worry,
did
all
get-
is well.
We did just start to talk about the match between Chad Gable's team of American Made going up against the Alpha Academy and winning in what I thought was a surprisingly great back and forth match that actually showed off more of what Akira Tozawa can do. Jobber no more.
I'm glad that they're keeping this feud going, and hopefully we'll one day get that one-on-one match between Chad Gable and Otis. Hell, maybe that'll be their WrestleMania match.
I'm not so convinced there's enough legs to drag it out until next year's WrestleMania. I think the ideal time to do it would be Survivor
Make
Series.
it Bad Blood.
If they could, yeah, hey, just as long as they don't miss that optimal window of opportunity to have this match and get the subsequent payoff. There
I
can
hate
be
to
other
say
matches.
it, but I think they're already there.
I can see that, but I guess in the sense that I would like to see this match before it gets any worse, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, at this point, the standout was one of those sensations where, okay, they're wrestling again. They're probably just going to have a standard wrestling match. But then the match keeps going on and on. I'm realizing there's a lot more back and forth, and Akira Tozawa is really putting in work tonight. Wow, where was this before? Now that Tozawa actually has some room to flex his muscle, so to speak. So I admit that was one of the things that I just sort of lost hope with the Vince McMahon regime, where they reduced a man like Akira Tozawa to just a joke character, when in reality, he's one of those guys who can actually do far, far more. It was really disheartening, but now I gotta admit, I'm starting to believe again. They could turn Tozawa into someone really serious and deadly. Not sure if I would.
Let's hope so.
I hope so too.
Let me tell you, I think everybody's on this Triple H regime. Everybody's bringing their A game. Everybody knows this is probably one of the arguably best times to get into pro wrestling. Everybody wants to stand out. And the nice thing about Triple H is, he's not as, for lack of a better word, delusional as Vince was towards the end of his tenure as chairman. But Triple H sees the potential in these guys and wants to show it off. You don't want to see a weak performer. You don't want, like, you can have no disrespect to our truth, but like you can have him have the comedy bits, but at the end of the day, you know that our Ron the Truth Killings from his TNA days can still fucking lace up a pair of boots and put on a show. And I think it's Triple H saying to these guys, hey, you have 7, 8 minutes, put on a show. And it's like, let's have this back and forth. Let's have everybody look strong and we all come out looking, hey, did you see about that tag team match with Scholar Jeff? They clearly got your attention on.
They absolutely did. And it's funny you bring up R-Truth because R-Truth freaking died. R-Truth died at the hands of Bronson Reed and being smushed by a giant kaiju man 5 times in a row. I mean, you talk about another guy who's gotten a serious revamp just in the past couple weeks.
Good.
I've always liked Bronson Reed. I've always want them to do something with him. But now it's like, okay, now he's getting like Vader vibes all of a sudden. It's like, yes, finally, they're doing something with my boy Bronson Reed. I dig it. People are dying. It's great.
It's crazy. Like you saw it with the Miz. He plants it on the Miz, and then you're like, okay, great. But then R-Truth comes down, plants R-Truth, plants R-Truth, plants R-Truth, plants R-Truth, and you're like, this man is an animal. He is just a big man that just doesn't care. And now, like you said, I'm like, man, what is this guy gonna do next week? I can't wait to tune in and find out. Because
You just gotta ask who's he gonna kill next week.
yeah, who's he now gonna massacre? Like, are we gonna see Sin Cara come back and just get massacred by this guy? Are we gonna see?
You know what? Let's have a little fun with this. Let's make it a Scholars Quick Talk. Who is the next person that's going to be murdered by Bronson Reed? Pete, go.
In the current roster right now, right?
Current roster right now. Pick one.
Oh, hold on. Give me a second here.
Who on Raw?
I'm thinking now. Let's walk through this. Scholar Tar. You would think it would have to be like a tag team, similar to like the Miz and R-Truth. That way you just see domination again, where it's just taking out these guys. But then, do you play that same fiddle? Do you bring somebody bigger? Do you bring like a Sami Zayn down on his luck? Does Sami Zayn get taken out because of his luck lately? Would make sense with his story. But is he the guy? Is Reed? You know what? Sami Zayn. I'm going with Sami Zayn.
As soon as you said Sami Zayn, I'm like, I feel like that's maybe like a feud away, but I don't think he's the next one to get squashed by Bronson. But boy, that's a good name. That's a good name.
It's a good name, but I think they're now aiming Sami Zayn with Jey Uso to take the tag team championships off the Judgment Day. That's where I think they're going with Sami. It's too early for him to go after Braun Breaker. I'm just trying to think on this roster.
Yeah, it's tough to find someone who actually just like hits that sweet spot of like a noteworthy enough name, but low down enough in the card to be absolutely murdered by Bronson Reed.
I'm gonna go with Sheamus after his match with Pete Dunne. Him going after world champions and R-Truth.
Right, Scholar Jeff.
But he did attack Miz. He was going to do it to Miz before R-Truth intervened. So, former world champions, why the hell not?
That would, you know what? That would fit. And they're all people who could lose to Bronson Reed, make him look good without going that. You know what? I'll join you on the Sheamus guess. I think that's a very, very solid pick once his feud with Pete Dunne is over and done with. No pun intended. But with that, anything else jump out at you from this week's Monday Night Raw?
I was very disappointed with the Gunther Randy Orton segment. I think Gunther looked weak taking that RKO. And I was not happy about it. I think that, him getting distracted by Drew McIntyre Right, cool. Seth is off TV. We get that. Punk's had the interference. I want to see Gunther. I want to see Orton. Like I said, you saw Gunther going, I'm not going to take anything. I'm going to see it coming. He gets distracted by Drew, and then boom, you hit the RKO. Yay, fan pop. I just personally, like, I know the resident scholar Tarek is the big Gunther fan. I don't take that away, but I just felt like for me, that was I just didn't like it personally. I thought it didn't need it. These two Goliath men are going to battle in Berlin. Like, you don't need cheap shots. You just need to be like, I'm gonna fuck you up, dude. I'm gonna fuck you up, dude. I'll see you in Berlin.
I just think that's now going to be a good response for Gunther to show up next week and hit Randy Orton with a shot out of nowhere. I don't know what, but I think they're going to try and just continue to one up each other. I will say I'm not necessarily a big fan of him taking the RKO either, but I don't not really a big fan of basically having CM Punk and Drew McIntyre basically take the focus out of that. But as long as they have like a segment where he ones up Randy Orton next week, then I'll be perfectly fine with it because it's a 14-time world champion Randy Orton. So it's not that surprising, and he was going to get one eventually. I mean, hell, they had a promo with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar saying he's going to not take an RKO out of nowhere, and literally after that line ended, Randy Orton showed up out of nowhere and RKO'd Brock Lesnar. So it's perfectly fine. It didn't bother me as much as it bothered you, Pete. But yeah, as long as he gets his
His come on.
like
I ran the
his revenge on that to show he's strong. I mean, I can't even take away anything what he says on the mic. What I love about Gunther on the mic is just when he rips you a new one, he rips you a new one. He is a great talker of basically putting you over, but also just making you, it's like beating you down to the point it's like, that now I'm gonna RKO you. You talk crap about my grandfather, you talk crap about my dad, RKO out of nowhere. You're street trash. Well, it's like, I'm Damian Priest. No matter what anyone says, nothing bothers me. You're a street trash.
It makes me believe in the world title again. Like, no disrespect to
That's what the
Damian
ring
Priest.
does.
I think he did a great job during the summer, but like, man, we're like SummerSlam, fucking Survivor Series season coming. You want to see these big matches, and I think what a matchup it will be at the end of the day with Randy Orton Gunther. Sign me up. You had me at RKO.
For sure. And honestly, the whole feud is giving me kind of like Rocky 4 vibes, and not for the reasons that you probably think. What you were just talking about, where, yeah, there was smack talk going around, but like in those movies, Ivan Drago and his posse were like, yeah, he's
I
a
must break
very,
you.
before you get to the I must break you, if you remember how his hype people talked, they were like, Apollo Creed is a very prestigious and well respected champion in Russia. Beating him would be a great victory. And he's like, whoa, victory? You think I'm just going to roll over and let you beat me? Come on now. And that's what's great about Gunther's character. His character, such as it is absolutely consistent. To him, the mat is sacred. Wrestling is a beautiful, sacred art that he takes with the utmost seriousness. If he does not respect you, he will break you without prejudice. If he does see you on his level, he will pay you the proper respect. He will treat you properly. But if you challenge him, he will take you out. He will hit you with everything he's got. But if he doesn't respect you, he is just going to absolutely punish you, break you, and throw you out of his ring. That's
Sounds like another champion I know.
Oh, your reign is just getting started, and if you keep talking that degree of smack, it's going to end sooner than you think.
Gonna bite you in the ass, sir.
Listen,
It's
when you
just
when we
it's
come
just so
back here,
adorable. It's like a little kid who just thinks he won. We let him win a video game. And he's just like, yeah, well, I'm already better than all of you.
let me tell you
Like,
something.
oh,
Scarlet Tarek,
adorable.
Scarlet Tarek, Scarlet Jeff. Let me tell you something. Next week, when Sami Zayn gets the shit kicked out of him, and we come to do the predictions show, you're gonna see me standing tall with my belt.
Oh,
I'm in the mind of Triple H.
Oh,
I'm Triple N.
and what if
I'm
he
next
doesn't beat up
level.
Sami Zayn? Then what the if even if you're wrong? What if you're wrong?
We'll
Yeah,
both
that's what
be
I thought.
wrong.
yeah.
We'll both be wrong.
Oh,
Well, on that note,
you poor man.
I'll tell you what, you may be in the mind of Triple H, but are you in the mind of Tony Khan? We'll have to see after the fallout from this week's AEW Dynamite, which is setting up quite a lot of stakes for next week's All In show, which I hope you were taking notes, sir. Because
Hype,
first off,
hype levels
yes,
increased. Hype levels increased for All In. Video packages, great video packages, making you feel. Made me a,
yeah,
made me a believer in AEW for today. Let me tell you, or when Dynamite was on, made me a believer saying, "Oh, I'm ready for All In."
I'll tell you, when AEW may have been in a bit of a lull recently when just coming out of WWE's WrestleMania season, but let me tell you, when they hit, they hit. And I know you're talking about the video package they aired for Bryan Danielson leading into his
One of their
title
best.
versus career match with Swerve Strickland.
Let me tell you, it was the time of my life, Scholar Jeff.
Hey, you say that with a smile, but that video package honestly made me think this match really could go either way. Looks
Oh,
like they're hyping it
yeah,
up. Go
very
on, Tark.
much so. I would say, yeah, they're hyping this up very. Oh my God, just that video package alone, just looking back on all of Danielson's career minus WWE, and now they're really emphasizing the heelness of Swerve Strickland's character and him standing tall on Dynamite. It's like at this point, I'm just like, God damn it, Brian, just win the goddamn title. I don't want this to be your last match. I want you to win. So win the goddamn title, and then like have those several appearances, and then just lose it like relatively soon. You don't have to have a long title reign. Just have a title reign. This is basically the equivalent of their WrestleMania. At least how much they're building this match. Like, God damn it, man. Just when I know how you are about like, oh, I don't want to win the world title, but I kind of want to be like, yeah, I'm signing with Tony Khan on this one. I'm just going, stop it. Stop it.
Give the
Well, we
people
see
what they
where.
want.
What do you want, Jeff? What do you think is going to happen in this match? Give the fans a little bit of a tease for next week. What do you think's going to happen?
I'll be honest with you. This is not me trying to pull a fast one on you, Champ Pete. This is me being sincere and honest with you. I truly don't know.
Yeah,
Like, I can
100%.
see them being a red herring with these videos where like, okay, he's getting ready for this is gonna be his last match, but then again, Busaiku Ni, and he actually ends up winning, and that will be the next few months or so are gonna be his last full-time run. But then again, what if it's true? What if it's right, very sincere, right on as surface level as it seems? Swerve Strickland is also on an absolute tear recently. His title reign is still going strong. I can absolutely, just as much as I can see the storybook ending for Bryan Danielson, I can also see Swerve using this opportunity to beat Bryan Danielson clean, give Bryan Danielson a standing ovation in Wembley in front of however many tens of thousands of fans that they've got.
including
I
his
can
daughter.
see him, including his daughter and hopefully his wife too, being in the front row. I can see that being the perfect venue for a retirement
send-off.
send off for Bryan Danielson.
Okay.
Either way seems perfectly plausible to me, and I sincerely will not have a definitive answer for you until next week when we do our review show for All In.
It sounds like
So
a show
sorry,
that
Pete,
you
you're not
watch.
going to get any hints, sir. You're on your own.
Let me tell
Time
you,
to play scholar, baby.
let me tell you, it's a show to watch. Definitely check it out, Scholars of Wrestling. You know, or YouTube. Subscribe, like. Let me tell you something. The other thing that
Smash
I
that
also,
subscribe button, smash that like button.
the other thing I have to say is I want to just touch on if you gentlemen are done talking about Danielson, is MJF Will Ospreay. Like even that little put together video. Let me tell you something. It's the same thing with my girl coming back. She's done. She's no more suspended. She's my dentist and yours. But it's like I said to you at the beginning when we started talking about AEW, talking about Danielson's match, talking about MJF, Will Ospreay, talking about Brick Breaker. Like AEW, like you said, is on a tear. Post WrestleMania, this is the time to watch. These are the matches you know you're going to see. Because if you remember last year at All In, what a banger of a show. How is this going to be any different? It's not. You're going to have those moments with Danielson. Like you said, I'm 50-50. I'll agree. I don't know. Because that video, it was the time of my life. Was it his? Is he done? Or is he going to get that one title shot for the AEW and have that belt and hold it high? It's just, I think, like I said, I want to go into MJF, Will Ospreay, but I think like pound for pound, these matches are getting me excited for an AEW pay-per-view. And I didn't think I would say that for the last 3 months.
And talking about excitement, I admit I was already looking forward to this show. What I really haven't been paying too much attention to, I admit, was the AEW tag team title scene, where we got another continuation, a major continuation rather, of that story, where we got the Young Bucks beating the Acclaimed by disqualification after FTR comes in, and now leading up to a qualifier on Collision this weekend, we've got the Acclaimed taking on FTR to see who will go on to face the Young Bucks for the tag titles at All In. Personally, I'm hoping that the Acclaimed does get their tag team title shots. I feel like they need a little something to refresh their act. FTR are Teflon, in my opinion. And yeah, I'm fully backing the Acclaimed on this one. Gentlemen, what match do you believe they're setting up to for All In?
The money's on FTR. I mean, who doesn't want to see that at Wembley one more time? The two best, arguably, tag teams in the world just going at it. That is straight money. But again, like you said, disqualification, the Acclaim, don't they deserve their moment in the sun? Is Tony Khan going to give them that moment? Or is he going to go to the old reliable where it's like, oh, Young Bucks and FTR are going to just bring money? It's like a couple years back when it was always the Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros. And we had cage matches, ladder matches, every matches. Is AEW going to continue that with FTR and the Young Bucks at All In? Or I think I agree with you, Scholar Jeff. Should they go with the Acclaim and give them that opportunity to recapture their belt? Like I'm giving you a chance to recapture my Scholars of Wrestling championship. I've never lost this belt. Have you lost the belt, sir? Yes, you have.
Kirk, what do you think is going to happen?
Between the tag teams?
Yes, of the
Or whatever's going
qualifying
on
match
here between the two of you.
Oh, no one cares about that. I'm talking specifically about the Acclaimed or FTR going on to face the Young Bucks for the tag titles at Wembley. What team do you think is going to win, and what team, in your opinion, should win?
Kind of hard to say because you guys are excited for the tag team title matches. I'm not. I I honestly don't care about the tag team division right now. When it comes to AEW, I mean the Young Bucks are doing well with their we're the greatest this is our greatest championship ever, yet they've only defended the title this one time against the Acclaimed months after the Acclaim won the number one contendership. And FTR comes in and screws them out of that match. And what does Christopher Daniels do in retaliation? Give him a number one contender so FTR could possibly take their the Acclaim's title opportunity away. So that's just silly booking in the long run. But if I had to choose, they're probably just gonna. Who am I kidding? They're setting up for a disqualification and having it be a six-man, a trios for the tag team championship.
Yeah, who am I kidding? For a second there, I took it at face value. Shame on me.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah,
probably
just
going to be a triple
Skeletor
threat,
for the win.
especially on
Yeah,
Collision.
Skeletor for the win.
I
Yep.
should have known. I should have known.
It's like, who's gonna win? Probably both.
That's why it's
Why
on
not
Collision, because both are gonna win.
Honestly, if there's any match that I'm looking forward to now is the Casino Battle Royal.
Yes, I
I just
love a good
now I
casino
just
battle
want
royal. They're so much fun.
now I just want Orange Cassidy to win, just so I can see the potential Orange Cassidy versus Bryan Danielson for the AEW World Title. Oh,
Hey,
that's a pipe dream, but
stranger things have happened, and if I know we still sort of like, oh hey, Orange Cassidy, he's a silly boy, but at the same time, Orange Cassidy has also put on some of the best matches in AEW history. So he's the workhorse. He can go anywhere.
is it? I actually like the idea of the Casino Battle Royal being like one person comes out every few minutes, but if someone gets pinned, it doesn't matter if you came out yet. The match is over. It's a very interesting idea.
Oh yeah, and it's still fun to watch that same sort of Royal Rumble-esque thing where you don't know who's coming out next. And it could bring a lot of times for a lot of opportunities for cameo appearances or one-offs or returning favorites. And I think there's
Actually,
something good that's going to be coming up soon for the All In show.
Actually, I actually heard today, like there are discussions for the potential, like with you mentioning cameos or debuts or returns. This is a scholar's quick talk for you guys. What are the chances of us actually seeing Ricochet show up in this match?
Ooh.
Because it was a rumor I read about earlier today about him being one of the big names that might actually show up in this Casino Battle Royal. And I'm thinking, you know what? If there's a good place for him to debut, this match would work. I mean, AJ Styles debuted in the Royal Rumble, for Christ's sake.
You know what? I'll be honest, it's been a while since I even thought about Ricochet. But you know what? He would be perfect for that role, come to think of it. Plus, with AEW being what it is, they could do a lot more with Ricochet than WWE could have done in years. This could be the exact kind of freshness he needs. So I'm gonna say pretty high chance.
Let me tell you something, Skeletor. You're going to keep hitting us with these facts. You might be seeing yourself getting a title shot soon down the line when I beat, Scholar Jeff decisively, like I said. But,
That's
if you keep hitting these things,
sir.
you keep
Don't
hitting these
worry.
things, Skeletor.
It's pretty much a mission now to have that title be undisputed once again.
Oh boy. Well, you know what? With the challenge finally being accepted, you got to go through me first. This is going to be your first real test, Pete. Are you going to sink or float? We will.
I'm all in.
I know you are, and now is your time to absolutely prove it. But now, as for to this week anyway, that is our thoughts on this past week in professional wrestling, as well as the latest in backstage news. But now is a time in our show where we pitch it back over to you, our fellow fans. What do you think were the highlights and lowlights of this week in professional wrestling? What do you think of All In coming back to the States? Will you be there? No matter what you think, let us know all across the internet, YouTube comments, Facebook posts, Twitter posts, whatever. We do like those Twitter posts because you love it when you join us on the Twitter machines and join in the conversation yourself. Well, where can they reach you?
You can reach me remembering the Alamo. Yeah.
Yeehaw.
At the Avataric.
And Scholar Pete, where can they reach you?
I'm sorry, I think it got cut off. I think you were looking for Scholars of Wrestling Champion, Scholar Pete. Yes, they could find me over at X at Improv Pete, but I might rename it to be Defending Champion of Greatness.
Let me
Let me tell you something.
That Twitter handle is too
Jeff,
long.
I can't wait for next week. Ladies and gentlemen, please like and subscribe. Get ready because it's going to be a throwdown next week between me and Scholar Jeff. He don't know what he's in for. Let me tell you, I'm going to throw some picks that he's going to be going, wow, that was pixelicious.
And speaking of
Pixelicious?
pixelicious, yes, pixelicious. It's a word. Look it up.
Google that.
And you can catch me knowing the definition of the word pixelicious at I'm Robbie Rage. Join in the conversation, and for all of these relevant social media links and much, much more, check us out at our link tree in the description below. That's linktree/Scholars of Wrestling. But until next week, we're going to be coming back at you next week with some all-in predictions and a whole lot of smack talk. But you already knew that because you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
See you all at All In.
God damn, pixelicious actually is a word.
I thought